Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our bluebird family found themselves in a little bit of hot water when hardship after hardship came knocking on their door as soon as we passed the day. Not only have they been dealing with the bugs in the swamplands getting closer and closer to their territory, but now we have a very strange visitor, this little bearyena baby who, of course, has a bearyena mother very close by. I guess they were kind of investigating the remains of Eclipse's mother. And I mean, even in death, poor little Summer can't seem to catch a break. Now she has a bearyena looming over her skeleton, so I guess Whisper is going to have to try a little bit harder to make sure she can pass in peace. But perhaps the worst development of all was the rogue male, this ghoul from the swamps who finally tracked down our tribe again and surprised us by breeding with Isla. So she, as the holder of the bluebird feathers, is about to have her very first baby, which would usually be a cause for celebration, but this obviously is very, very different. He's going to spread his rotten genetics into her line, and she's not quite sure what to do. She's not quite sure if she's going to be able to raise this baby like Adam intended, and she probably feels like she failed her mother a little bit too. But for now, they do have more pressing matters to deal with. They're going to have to make sure they get rid of the bearyena first, or else all of their babies are going to end up falling to its jaws. Thankfully, Chime is nearby though. He was kind of guided in this direction by those strange little growls and yips from the baby bearyena. So now that he's realized that this part of the family is in danger, maybe he would send off a little warning song to the rest of his family to guide them in this direction too. That way somebody will be able to help, because as it is right now, Eclipse is one of the only creatures who can really guard us. Whisper has the claw too, so she could help if she needed to, but because she's so sick and because she's trying to isolate herself so nobody else catches her curse, she probably wouldn't want to interfere too much. She's also going to be having a baby soon too, so it's important that we keep her safe. But creatures like Kukirkir and Leap, of course, would definitely jump to their rescue. In fact, let's bring Leap down this pathway, this very, very well-worn pathway that he's taken before, and he's even helped clear out with his own 2 paws. So as he asks Chime what's going on, we'll bring Kukirkir down here too to get ready to help on the next turn. Maybe if we're lucky, we can kind of maneuver him around all of the children. We'll bring him right down here, right in the front as the beacon of adventure, of course, and as again one of our strongest members of the pack, thanks to that lovely bearyena claw. So he should definitely be one of the first to lead them to the new shores. Then I guess Ladybug is probably going to stay behind with the other babies. She actually looks quite a bit like Myth, doesn't she? I just realized that they have the double nimble fingers and the exact same fur color too. I mean, you two look like you could almost be related. But of course, Myth is part of the shaman line instead. I guess Sarala, as the second part of the beacon, should probably join her brother down by the shores though. So she's going to have to request that Trance watches after his little brother. And we're going to have to make this maneuver very quickly because I know that bluebird is somewhere in our skies. There you are, hovering above our jungle families, in fact. He always seems to be drawn in that direction, and I wonder if there's a particular reason for that. But let's bring Sarala way over here, and then right away we'll bring Trance to his little brother's side. That way he should be able to protect the baby from the waiting jaws, the waiting talons rather, of the bluebirds. Ladybug will make sure that she keeps a very close eye on them too, because that's basically been her job so far. She might even request that Myth takes a bit of a step away from all of those bugs, just to make sure that he doesn't end up getting sick with the sleeping illness. We'll bring Ladybug away from the baby though, because Myth does also have that curse, so Sarala would still want to make sure that nobody else is going to get sick because of her babies. We'll bring Sarala down here to be with her brother though, to help guide their way down the shore. And then I think we're just missing our water babies on the other side of the island. They're a bit too far away to hear most of the commotion at this point. Pebble in particular is way deep down in the deepest portions of the ocean, looking for fish to grab for his family. We don't want him to get too far away from the healing fruits, the water-breathing plants, just in case he runs out, because that would be a very, very big disaster. He can't scoop up these piranha fish with his current fishing skill, so we'll just bring him over here so he's settled in between both of these healing plants, and maybe somebody else could even scoop it up too. Maybe he would try to splash out in the water to draw Gravel's attention. Though you, of course, are not going to want to leave Kuvan behind, so let's set him up first. Roro is trying his best to guide him in the direction of the very same healing plants that he used when he took his first steps into the water. So Kuvan can go ahead and nibble on this little plant, and then start diving into the ocean too. He'll have a much better time getting around because his little webbed toes make him so good at swimming. So now that Gravel can rest easily that their little adopted brother will be following, he can come all the way down here and try one of these plants too. So now I think everybody in the family has that underwater breathing buff on them at the moment. Roro even managed to scout out a little patch that we know Kuvan could definitely dig up. So I think he'll leave that to him, to his more skilled platypus beak, of course. And then we'll just move Roro down the shore instead, to scout ahead and spy all of the bunnies hopping around this abandoned territory. Luckily, there must still be some little signs of life here, left behind by Fang and Summer when they were still in the area, trying to take care of the bunnies, trying to take care of this carnivorous plant. So Roro is going to have to put his detective skills to the test, so he can try to find his missing family again. But otherwise, I think we are just about all out of turns, so we'll go back to our bluebird family, and we'll see how they fare tonight. We'll see if that bearyena decides to come out from the darkness. Oh my goodness, Isla, this bearyena has locked eyes with you. That is definitely not good. Well, what you can definitely do is at least poison the bearyena, and then we'll want to send in the reinforcements because we desperately need them. So Sarala and Kukirkir will light the way, as the rogue male, on his very last day by the way, hops around watching this family too. Thankfully he won't be bothering us anymore, but we will want to keep a close eye on Sarala. I did just realize that she is not pregnant right now, so she does run the risk of drawing his attention. So we might actually want to have Kukirkir take the lead. We'll leave him right here, so that way if this rogue male does notice our beacon of adventure, he should be able to take a nice big swipe at him first. And that leaves creatures like Leap and Chime to do our work for us right now. Leap is very adventurous too, of course. That's why he loves carving out his pathways so much. And thanks to his very bright fur color, he could almost be a little beacon of adventure himself. I think we're going to bring him right up here, right up against the bearyena, because thanks to his toxic body, he shouldn't have to worry about the beryena's attacks. I would assume the bearyena would be leery to snack on anybody with such a bright fur color. They probably know better because that would end up harming them more. Unless because she's already poisoned, maybe she wouldn't care, but I think Leap would rather jump to their rescue. He wants to show them that they're not alone. And then Chime, of course, can bring up the rear, letting out his song of warning the whole way down, so if anybody else happens to hear them, they'll be able to help out too. And this rogue male seems to be circling Whisper's lonely island, which I definitely do not like. Let's actually bring her a bit further away from the bearyena, though. I don't think she'd want to have her baby so close. Oh, and she has access to one of the healing fruits? Oh, that's very interesting. That's actually a very good sign. Maybe she could use that to her advantage. Of course, if this family doesn't know how the healing fruits work just yet, hey buddy, no, don't come onto our island. Oh, Eclipse, you're going to have to save poor Whisper at this rate. Well, we're still going to use her very last turn to settle down a nest instead of taking a swipe at this guy, because he's going to pass away on this turn anyway, so it would just be a waste, and we have to make sure that she has an heir to take on her powers before she ends up succumbing to the curse. Now, Eclipse, I'm sure you're going to tell Isla to run away as fast as she possibly can. We'll bring her down the shore a little bit further so she's at least out of the beryena's sight. Then we can bring Eclipse over here to take a quick swipe, and then jump away himself. Maybe dart a little bit further into the swamplands, hidden away by that grass. And thanks to the thorns, I hope that means the bearyena won't be able to sneak around and return the favor. So let's leave these creatures over here for now, but we're going to be very, very vigilant as we make the rest of our turns, just to make sure this guy isn't hopping too close to Sarala. Why don't we come over here, though, to see how Fang is doing? It looks like she may have actually evaded the bugs. Yeah, most of them have disappeared, or maybe just moved further down the shore. Okay, that's not quite the evasion that I was hoping for. So she can go ahead and continue to pick her poison berries. Some food for Bumble to possibly enjoy as soon as he's done with his work in the jungle. Though to be honest, they are enjoying their own source of food at the moment, so I'm not sure how much they're going to want these poison berries right now. Let's go ahead and have Bumble finally pick some of these stinky fruits. We'll have him use all of his turns to clear this thing out first, and then afterwards we'll use a beetle's turns to hopefully lick the stench right off. There we go, I think that's the way to do it from here on out. We'll do all the collecting first, and then we'll worry about the stench. But that does leave Beetle with one extra turn, so let's bring him a bit deeper into the grass, just to see what else might be around here, and particularly to see if we can hear the ape in the jungle. The last time we ever saw it was when Cricket found it the first time right by this tree. So I mean, I'm very, very nervous. I know it's still around there somewhere. There's no way that it managed to pass away so quickly. Oh, and it looks like Cicada and Hopper are finally waking up. They were so sick after getting infected by those bugs. And unfortunately, they've kind of been left behind by their families in the process. So now they need to find a clear pathway to take to get away from these bugs. I don't think these two want to see another swamplands in their entire lives. So we have some bugs up in the north, we have some bugs very close to them in the south. I don't think they're going to be able to sneak around these in time, so why don't we just go ahead and let them rest a little while longer right in these nests? Cicada can go ahead and pick up her poison berries to make sure they have food, but otherwise that's where they're going to be. Oh, and Kuvan, it looks like you may have gotten a little separated from your family after all. Alright, we need to bring somebody back to make sure he can swim fast, but first it looks like Pebble has run out of his plant, so go ahead and scoop up another before you end up drowning today. He can keep combing the water for fish and other little plants to scoop up too. And then I think we'll have maybe Gravel come back here to light up the pathway for Kuvan. It seems fitting that he would be the one. He's always been right by his little brother's side after all. And we have this bunny back here too, but I don't think our creatures are going to be able to scoop that up for us. Oh, wait a second. Really, yet again? This is what happened last time when I decided that Eclipse wouldn't be going after his bunny either. Very interesting how these bunnies would rather dive straight into our claws instead. Now Roro, I think, should be able to move quite far down the shore. He has all of these acorns to pick up too. How long has it been since we last had acorns to eat? Our jungle family's safe havens have appeared in a very different location, so they haven't had their taste of acorns in a very, very long time. But I think Roro is a little bit more concerned with finding his sister right now. Finding his sister and his mother, though Mamba unfortunately has passed away long ago. And I wonder if he might start to hear the commotion on the other side of all of these swamp thorns by now. They are very, very close. Before he leaves though, I do just want to sniff this thing out. Alright, it looks like our carnivorous plant is still feeling a little bit friendly at the moment, so maybe one of his children can try their hand at gathering up that fruit. But yeah, I mean, I guess Roro and Isla are finally going to reunite soon. If we have Isla keep running down the shore, trying to get away from this bearyena so she can still have her baby in peace, they are literally going to meet right in the middle where these ports are. That's kind of adorable actually, and very fitting of the bluebird family. And it looks like Whisper still has her little visitor right on her island. I'm very upset about that little guy, but I guess do what you have to. So Myth can take on his second gem, which means that he should be able to move a bit further away from the adults. We want the second one to be blue, though, to signify that he's part of the shaman line. And then I think I would like to bring him toward the jungle, because he should be able to really help them out as long as he can find a good berry bush to pick from. Though I did notice, oh no, one of your animals has been infected with a sickness by another animal. Does that mean that Trance, oh, he has actually caught the curse, we could say. Caught the shaman's curse thanks to being so close to his little brother. That is a very interesting development too. That means that we have yet another sick creature to essentially quarantine, though I guess that also means that these two could travel along together because it doesn't really matter anymore. Ladybug, on the other hand, is going to have to try to find some safer ground, so we'll use her to scout ahead like usual, make sure that the pathway is going to be clear for the babies, and that nothing is going to stand in their way. Oh good, she even has a new little poison berry bush to pick from, so she won't be going hungry either. And we could have Myth maybe come over here to scoop up those extra berries, just a little snack for the road. And now we're left once again with only our beacons and Chime. So let's have Chime finally move toward the front of the pack, to be a bit closer to those strange berryenas, especially the baby in the background. He is very, very curious about their origins. He knows that this is a dangerous moment though, so he's not going to get too close. He'll leave that to creatures like Kukirkir and Sarala. I suppose we might actually want to leave Kukirkir here though. I think the bearyena is still going to try to go after Isla. Typically they lock onto one creature in our tribe, and they do everything they can to chase them down. But just in case, we still want to be a bit cautious here. So we'll bring Kukirkir right between the other two, and then Sarala can try to edge her way a bit closer. We'll set her up right here so she's on the shore, and I guess she can try to dig up some food while she's at it, which is kind of fitting since Kuvan is just around the corner. But now we can see where the bearyena is going to try to go. So let's go ahead and skip the day again and see if they continue to chase after poor Isla. Well, I mean, the silver lining here is that the bearyena is so close to the end of her lifespan that we should be able to have Eclipse jump out from the tall grass and slap it from behind. So that bearyena never even saw him coming. Eclipse has once again saved the day. And now he has a brand new little baby way off in that distant lonely nest too. It looks like it's a female, and she has the giant ears just like her father. But more importantly, she also has Adam's old orange fur. So I bet Isla would find that a particularly good sign. In fact, I think we're going to name this baby Sunrise, because she also reminds me quite a bit of our summer shores from the previous island. And with the blood of the Lifebringer in her too, maybe she'll be able to help out the tribe a little bit more than she realizes. I also feel like Eclipse would probably have quite a bit of powers from his father Crescent, but maybe he doesn't realize his potential because he never knew his dad. He didn't know what sort of role Crescent actually played in the tribe. But I hope him being nearby will be enough to lend Isla a little bit of luck, because she certainly needs it right now. She's probably feeling very, very torn. Maybe she's reluctant to even make her nest right now because she doesn't want to fail her mother. And with so many new faces so close by too, that must really be worrying her right now. Chime, of course, is going to come over here to investigate this baby bearyena though. That is the first thing on his mind. I feel like, especially because he loves different unique sounds, he would be the type of creature who would try to find a way to communicate with a friendly bearyena. So he'll use his extra food to get on this one's good side. That should also light up the way for some of our other creatures to make their way down the shore. And look at this, our rogue male has passed away right beneath the waves, which is a good sign for us because that probably means that our shamans can't reach him, so a fitting end for such a nuisance. I wonder if Sarala could actually make her way to her daughter though. That way she could possibly watch after her little baby in the nest. Let's see, there we go, she can get right next to her, so she can get to know her first little grandchild. Oh, that must be such a shock. Sarala probably thought that she would never see her daughter again after they sent her off to help the rest of the tribe. But now in her old age and right after Ghost's passing, she can get to know her children again in a brand new way. And a whisper, meanwhile, maybe she could come over here and try her hand at some of these healing fruits. So she has taken 12 days worth of damage thanks to her common cold. So if we go ahead and scoop one of these up, it does actually take just 1 day's worth of damage off of her life. Well, that's good to see, but this leech is not. Wait a second. You're going to try to attach to Whisper, aren't you? Well, we don't want to bring it right over to the baby, but we also don't want Whisper picking up another day's worth of damage so soon after healing herself too. I guess maybe Kukirkir would be able to pick that off of her, but we also don't want to risk him getting sick. So let's see if we can maneuver this right. We'll bring Kukirkir down the shore just to get him prepared, just to watch over his sister's family. Maybe he wants to catch a little glimpse of the newest baby in the nest too. Then we'll go ahead and bring Whisper to the very, very corner of her lonely island. That way she'll be closer to Eclipse, so maybe they can have another baby before she passes. She's feeling very invigorated after taking that fruit though, so I wonder if she would pass that knowledge on to her baby at least. It would be a good thing for them to keep in mind, because if they do find more healing fruits on different islands, she knows that would be invaluable knowledge for them to have. Leap in the meantime can hop curiously after Chime, as always of course. And in the process he might notice that Isla is looking very distressed way back here in the darkness. Let's bring him right over next to her, so he can light up the area with his golden fur and see what's troubling her so much. Maybe all she needs is a new perspective, somebody on the outside to listen to her woes. So she'll sit up by his side, finally place down that nest that she was so worried about, and munch on some of her poison berries while she tells him all the stories of Adam. How her bluebird feathers means that she's meant to lead this tribe, meant to find the old island where Adam used to live and bring them back to his old family. How her own mother gave her the task and she feels like there's no way she can make her proud anymore, and how she's not sure if she can find it in herself to take care of this baby who's just about to be born. We could potentially play around with her mutation menu a little bit, but I'm not sure if it's going to really matter, because it's kind of after the fact now. But let's at least try to place something like the claw inside, because I feel like especially now, especially after all that had happened overnight, she definitely wants to make sure that her family is going to be a little bit stronger than she is. I noticed that a lot of you were a little bit disappointed that Isla and Eclipse didn't start a family too. So I just wanted to clear up why I started to steer their story in a different direction. It turns out that Isla and Eclipse do share an immunity gene, so their babies could end up sick. And since we already have one other purposefully sick family on the island, I was a little bit afraid to take that unnecessary risk. But that being said, they do share a very strong bond. Anybody would after spending such a long time together, and with so much chaos and turmoil on this side of the island too. So there are other ways that we'll be able to explore their relationship, even though they're getting a bit closer to the ends of their lives. So it's very important that we grow their families sooner rather than later. Now Roro naturally would be able to hear his family on the other side of these bushes by now. So I think he's just far too excited to wait for his kids. He didn't realize how much he actually missed all of his family members. His sister, of course, his very own twin, in fact. Not only are they siblings, but they were born on the very same day. So it's only natural that they would have a strong bond too, a very strong connection. And that leaves Isla with quite a few individuals lending her a hand in this very tough time. And then meanwhile, we'll have to make sure that Gravel and Kuvan are catching up, of course, as more and more bunnies continue to pour out from the swamplands. Well, you get to live today as long as you don't make any crazy moves, because our little flower-loving water babies need to catch up with their father. Now in the jungles again, I feel like Bumble might be starting to get a little bit worried about his friend. Maybe he would want to make sure that she's okay because he knows there are a lot of bugs out here. There's even bugs kind of swarming them by their stinky trees. So let's have him just scoot his way down the shore, see if she's doing okay way out here by her poison berries. It turns out that they all must have moved on because this entire area is very, very clear. Much more so than any of our other tribes at the moment. So maybe this would be the perfect time for her to consider starting a family of her own. I feel like these two may have harbored a little bit of a crush on each other ever since they first ran into each other right on the shores, when Bumble needed help getting that leech off of his fur. So let's see if we can do anything with their mutation menus. It turns out that Fang actually has the stinky tail in her genetics too, which is perfect for this family, of course, especially if we want to continue picking the stinky fruits. The only thing that might be a problem is if her babies inherit her spiky body, but hopefully all of their other genetics will override that. If it does become an issue though, we'll just make sure to leave one slot open. That way we can place one of the different bodies into her mutation menu instead. We will go ahead and place the normal blood clotting into one of her slots though, and then Bumble, it turns out, is surprisingly healthy. I can't see any major flaws that we would need to be made aware of. So instead, why don't we go ahead and place the ram horns into his first slot, and then we'll play around with the cosmetic genes instead. Let's try to bring the green eyes back to the jungle line, especially since this little guy looks so much like some of our older jungle ancestors. I feel like that would be a very fitting thing to see on their babies. So let's bring him a little bit closer. That way Fang will be able to breed with him and set up her nest right next to this toxic berry bush, so she can still make sure that her babies are very well fed. And then meantime, little beetle, you've kind of been left in the dust, just for a little while though. So you can go ahead and pick the berries instead, while you sniff around for that ape again. See if you can find it anywhere in the tall grass. Oh, that is so worrying. I know he's there somewhere. He's just waiting for us to make the wrong move. Maybe this would actually be a good opportunity for Trance to put his powers to use. Since he's kind of able to read into the future with his heightened senses, maybe he can find a safe path for his little brother to take. So it's time for our other little shamans to branch off once again. We'll bring them backward through the swamps, and quite close by to where Cicada and Hopper are waiting. It looks like they unfortunately still have a little bit of the sleeping sickness in them, so they won't be moving too far. In fact, all Ada can really do is pick her berries, and all Hopper can do is just stare at all of these thorns that are in his way. He must be grateful to finally see some more friendly faces though. He has missed being near the rest of his tribe. Though I think Trance actually managed to shake that common cold, so that means it should be safe for our creatures to settle by his side. We'll see if they can find a way to sneak past these bugs on the next turn, but otherwise I think we're just about all out of energy, aside from poor Ladybug, who must be quite worried to realize that all of the children have snuck off without her. So we'll have her cross this water so she's not completely isolated, and maybe try to seek out Kukirkir again. He would know how to track down the children after all, but for now we'll just have him try to dig up some more food, something to offer up to Sunrise perhaps, and then we'll go ahead and skip the day again, but zoomed out this time just in case anything dangerous comes out. Yeah, let's sniff around just to see. Is everything safe on the island now? We've had so many tests thrown our way recently. It looks like we're ready for a little bit of a break. So let's start things off by seeing what our new baby, Isla's new baby, looks like. It seems as if she unfortunately was not able to pick up that claw that we placed in her menu. She has the deformed paw from her father. She has some rotten genetics mixed in there as well. It kind of just validates all of Isla's fears. This is exactly what she was worried about, and I'm sure she thinks that her mother must be so disappointed in her wherever she is now. But Leap, on the other hand, has spent a very, very long time listening to all of her woes, and while he doesn't know very much about Adam, the Swamp family was never too connected to those old stories. I think he knows enough to form his own opinions at this point. Maybe he'd ask her, would Adam really want to see her abandon her child? Would he really want to see her cast her away just because of who her father was? Adam seems to know best how it feels to be separated from your family, so casting aside your own blood would surely go against his teachings. And maybe that reminder and her brother by her side too would be just what she needs to help keep her going. So she will name this baby Ghoul, perhaps in a memory of the very same Ghoul who showed up right at her doorstep. But she's going to try her best to train this little baby, despite all of her flaws and deformities, to be just as valuable to the tribe as everybody else has been so far. We can definitely find a use for her. We can find a way to put those nimble fingers to the test. And as she grows, she'll know that she has the support of her mother, despite her very troubled origins. And she'll have a Leap too, who I think is going to stick around for a little while longer. We'll have him do what he's so good at and clear out this area for this family. That way they'll be able to move a little bit more freely as they collect their berries, make sure their babies are fed, and as Roro returns to his children to make sure they're following too. He's probably a little bit embarrassed that he left everybody behind because he was so excited to see his sister again. Gravel, of course, might be more interested in picking up some of these acorns. And it seems as if the bunnies may be getting swarmed too. Oh, that's very interesting. Do you have the sleeping sickness, little guy? Oh no, he still seems pretty zippy, so you can probably make it to those berries with no trouble whatsoever. There's probably a little bit in Kuvan that is so excited to see some new tribe mates again. What he doesn't know, though, is that some of his half-siblings are waiting on this side of the island too. I'm sure they would be able to pick each other out quite easily, considering their very unique appearances. Kuvan might even be relieved to see that he's not the only one with this strange, colorful body. But before we end out the episode, let's bring our Lifebringer back to Whisper's side so they can have one more baby together. This might be one of their last chances, and since the smoke has cleared, it seems like it's the perfect time to set up yet another nest on her once lonely island. She thought she would isolate herself here forever, but her mother had other plans. It's awfully fitting that so many of these healing plants were around this island too. I wonder if that's actually Crescent's doing. Maybe he grows these for our creatures to use. And since Eclipse, his very own son, has set up a home right on the shore, what better place to let these plants bloom? Maybe this family will even learn to be the keepers of the healing fruits, help by healing all of the creatures around the tribe who need their help. And oh my goodness! Look at this crazy baby! Unfortunately, she does have this spiky body, so I guess in the next episode, we'll make sure that we place something extra into Fang's mutation menu. But her baby is something else! Oh, that mask and those giant eyebrows! Oh, Takir is getting very creative with his painting. I like how they tried to give her a cheeky little reference to the goddess of war too. But I think we're going to give her a different name. Something strong and valiant to go along with the jungles, of course, because she has quite a bit of work to do here too. So if you guys have any ideas for her name, then do let me know, and we'll go ahead and change that in the next episode. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!